Yes, yes. Oh, I should shut the door because it's loud. I think we're good. Hi. I felt this bubbling up, this want to share and talk about self-love because self-love is such a interesting, beautiful, personal topic and sense of knowingness for each one of us. And I feel for what I've observed in the world that my version of self-love and someone else's version might be different. So today I wanted to speak on what I have discovered and uncovered self-love truly is for me and how it's I totally lost my word. How it's not about being someone who loves themselves. It's really about being the self who loves. And that distinction is, again, for me personally, what gives this idea of self-love like the meat to it and the soul and the understanding, and then for me and my humanness, the knowing. I just feel it. It's the hit in the chest where you just know. When I started embarking on this journey around how I could cultivate inner confidence and a sense of love coming from such a self-destructive background as so many of us who are now kind of on this path or becoming the path usually started with, I really took this beautiful concept of self-love as a reason to shame myself because I saw that I wasn't loving myself enough, so then therefore not being self-loving enough meant that I was doing it wrong, and it just created a cycle of more shame and more blame and guilt and all of the lower emotions on the emotional vibration scale. So when I had this internal hit that I was talking about, this awareness and understanding of what being the self who loves is, I kind of felt like, oh damn, I get it. And it's good. And it is something I have to play around with every day, and I waver all the time. But the self who loves is the part of you. I like to think of her as like a grandma that you're so trusting of, and you just feel like she's just pure, and she sees you in your entirety, in all your beauty, in all your mess. She just sees you, and you can never do wrong by her, right? I don't know if you have anyone in your life like that, and if you do, you're just so blessed, and if you don't, you do. It's you and the universe. But having that physical representation for me in my brain, I just went to grandma, of this aspect of me that was looking at the other part of me and being able to sit there and hold just pure love for her. So the her that isn't loving of me is being loved by the me who loves. Tell me if that's a little crazy of verbiage and wording. But again, I think to something as simple as, if I'm having a conversation and I feel myself being judgmental of the other person, I feel myself being judgmental of myself, I have some sort of just like funk in my vibration that doesn't feel aligned with that highest, truest aspect of me. The older version of me would have taken that as a signal to kind of beat myself up even more and say, like, I can't believe you're judging her right now, or I can't believe you're judging you right now, and come on, Aria, we've moved past this, right? You've done all this work and you know all this stuff. And now the conversation in my head and the energy that I feel like I'm moving into is one, again, of this maternal grandma speaking to her very sweet child and saying, that's okay. It's okay, honey. I hear you. I hear that right now. That's really a big thing and you you really want to talk about that, or wow, you're really noticing and comparing yourself to this other person, and that's okay. I still love you. And even more profound for me was, and I love the you that doesn't love me. Because there's going to be moments where you, in your humanness, in our beautiful humanness, completely feel disconnected from that and just feel like, well, fuck off, universe. Like, this is bullshit. And to have that voice of that grandma say, it's okay, I still love you, even if you don't love me. I love you. That for me was the kind of key, if you will, of unlocking this everyday, ever-expanding Pandora's box of self-love. And I don't even know if self-love is the correct term that works for me. Not that there is a correct term, but a term that like feels the best. I don't really know. I don't know. I'm gonna think about that one. But just for the general population's sake, everybody hears and knows what self-love is supposed to mean and what it means. A big thing that I also really want to just kind of like give everyone a big hug and the permission to shake everything off is, women especially, men, you guys have so much of your own crappy bullshit put on by your own gender, but for women, I feel like we really think that we are supposed to be so, at least when we're on this path, like you're supposed to be so loving and beautiful and accepting and just gracious and perfect, and you love everything about yourself and everything is sunshine and rainbows, and obviously that's great, and I naturally know I'm a bubbly person, so coming from me, you might want to roll your eyes. I totally get that. But this self-love aspect of me holds this space of me that is fucking pissed, that gets angry, that feels jealous, that's vindictive, that wants to, hurt myself. Like, there are so many aspects of me, and the self who loves that. She loves me. She loves all of me and my wild, crazy messiness that I am. And the self who loves does not want me to become anything different than who I am. That's another beautiful key to this that I really just want to share with women. Is this is not about changing who you are. It's not about fitting into like the perfect feminine self-love statue. That's not real. It's not about enlightenment either, of transcending to this ethereal other dimension. I think that's beautiful, and I think we can have so many incredible moments, but the self who loves is this. It's like of the earth. It's here. It's who we are. We are this beautiful consciousness in this amazing human body. And for me personally, again, the self who loves that. It loves ego, and it loves our emotions and our humanness. So it's not asking us to look outside of ourselves for self-love. In a spiritual text, in the top of a pyramid, in a download, it is asking it of you. Like this you, this human you, just wants to be seen, just wants to be listened to and allowed to feel whatever you, the human you, the bigger part of you, whatever you are feeling, that is okay. And that again, that grandma, for me, I'm always going to call it a grandma, but that larger part of you that, again, actually, I don't think I ever touched on this, but to me, the grandma is connected to, she's just like divine source. She's just tapped in. So that for me was a very rambly, hopefully somewhat attainable piece of what it is to feel a self-acceptance, a self-worth, a love of self that is true and honest, and not about pretending to love that which you don't, really honoring that you don't love that and loving that as well. So let me know if you have thoughts on this, if you have questions, if any of this makes any sense. That makes me really happy, and if it doesn't, then it's a good practice for me to be less rambly and collect thoughts, but I rarely do that. I usually just, when I write or if I film anything, I kind of just flow on a whim. I'm all about that. So hopefully this resonated, and I just love you all so much, and I'm really just talking to myself anytime I write or share like this. It's just a huge reminder for me to kind of realign to the knowing that I know, but again, the human part of me forgets all the time. So I love you, and that's all.